the Rockets were also looking at Ty Lue, and I don't know if this happened before or after, but Daryl Morey stepped down and they didn't get Ty Lue. And do you think that next year the Rockets like look different? I think they have like a center next year. Like
it'd be funny if Harden didn't get to do like his whole like shimmy again, and like it's just like a normal basketball team. Because I'm gonna be honest. Maybe it's because we haven't seen them play normal basketball in years.
Yeah.
I think they're worse if they play normal basketball. Because now you're trusting Russell Westbrook to make plays in the half court. Yeah. Now you really have to pick and choose with like who are we gonna let carry the ball for like 75% of the time. I don't know like where they go from here. To be honest, I just don't think the pieces fit together unless you play that very specific type of basketball.
I still maintain that Clint Capella was an important part of their offense when they would run the pick and roll and he would get the little like mini alley-oop, because when James Harden drives into the paint now, everyone crashes on him and he kicks out to the corners where PJ Tucker or Robert Covington have to make a three. They're forcing those guys to make the big shots for them. Whereas if you have a big man inside, you can't just all crash on the guard. You have to like have someone paying attention to the guy that can catch the lob. So I like respect Daryl Morey. I heard him on the Bill Simmons podcast talking all about analytics and like he was like basically like the team that makes more threes wins every game. That's like what happens in the NBA, and that's all what he fully went for, and that's why it works so well in the regular season. And then you get to a 7-game playoff series where you play the same team 7 games in a row. You have to win 4 out of those 7, and if you're just hucking threes, I don't know if you can do that.
Yeah, I think you picked the wrong players to make those shots in the biggest moments. He's like, all right, we got to make more threes than the other team in the playoffs. Who am I going to pick to hit more shots in the playoffs? I'll pick James Harden, Russell Westbrook, and Eric Gordon. Those guys are the most clutch players you can get. And like, that's why I feel bad, because I do think that there's a method to the madness.
Yep.
I think that he's one Chris Paul hamstring away from making to the finals that year.
Yep.
They outplayed the Warriors through 5 games, which you have to like remember what that Warriors team was, and I think that is an accomplishment in and of itself. I think that
it was the first year with KD, which they were better that year.
And that's the only team in the West that I saw have an upper hand on the Warriors at one point.
Yep.
There is a time in that series we really thought the Rockets were outplaying the Warriors, and you need to give that team credit. You need to give Daryl Morey credit for that alone.
Definitely.
Because that team was unbeatable.
People are going to forget about that. Like, people have already forgotten. But that was like, the Cavs lost in 5 that year. Like, the Rockets took them 7. Like, they were the biggest threat.
Yeah, and I think that, they're going to obviously go in a more normal direction going forward, and they're probably not going to play basketball, money ball anymore. And we'll see. I'm curious to see if that bodes well, or if that does not bode well for this Rockets team. Just the way that they're built, it's wacky.